So, part 2 Chevy Silverado 5.3 lifter's stuck. We've made some progress in about the past hour. I'm going to show you what we've done. This isn't easy, but it ain't exactly that difficult. The most difficult part is removing these injector clips to get to the injectors, to disconnect the wiring, to hang the wiring up over here, which Charles on Crazy Performance doesn't show you any of that, but that's okay. He gets paid to do this shit. I don't. So we've disconnected all the injectors because we're going to do both valve cover gaskets just because. And we're going to clean all the push rods and make sure everything's clean. We'll change the oil. Here's a little trick I like to do. You see this red block? That is made specifically for more performance, and it tends to whistle when you drive with it. It is made by a company I got it from online. I forget the name. I'll post it if you want to know later on. At any rate, we're going to find the lifter that is stuck. And I'm pretty sure it's the first one. Yep, there it is. The first one. The push rod is stuck. It is moving, but it's not coming up. And that's the push rod right there, down below there. You can see all the push rods right here, right here. This is your valve, spring loaded. So the valve is loaded, but it ain't gonna push up. It's not gonna move the lifter because the cam pushes the lifter up to push down on the valve spring to open the valve for the intake, which is this one. This is your intake valve. That's your exhaust valve. You can tell by where it's placed. It's right over the top of each exhaust port. Intake, exhaust, and so on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this bolt off, the nut and bolt out, nut or bolt, whatever it is. We're gonna pull the push rod out, and then once we have the manifold off, we can use our tool that I showed you in the first video, and we're gonna tap it up, pop the rod out, pull the push rod out first. That way we can know when the lifter's free, the push rod don't go flying over the neighbor's yard. So put a towel over it just in case, but that way we'll know. So that's the problem with these 5.3s. What happens is the cylinders have a DOD, displacement on demand, which is kind of like the Cadillac North Star system. What it does is it cuts out 4 cylinders from the ECM that's down here. So we're going to take the ECM off, and we're going to send that in, electronic control module. We're going to send that in to Charles's guy from, I don't know, Idaho, South Dakota, somewhere. It's going to go for 50 bucks. He'll reprogram this thing, disable the AFM, automatic fuel management, and DOD, displacement on demand, to eliminate that part of the system so that it runs on all 8 cylinders forever, and we won't ever have this problem again. Because when that happens, on the next video I show you when I take the manifold off and this valley plate down here, the valley cover, what happens is there's some solenoids in there, and the solenoids don't get fed oil, and when they're not being fed oil, they're cutting out the cylinders, and that's to save on fuel economy, which is, in my opinion, fucking stupid. Because everybody ends up doing this. So the best way to get this done, oh look at that, Hecho in Mexico. Isn't everything made in China anymore? Nope, it's all made in Mexico. Cool. It's a lot closer. It should come sooner. Pretty funny. At any rate, we're going to change the spark plugs out because we're in here this deep, and it's a lot easier to get them. I've had them sitting in the truck for, I don't know, 20,000, 30,000 miles. I just haven't done it. And let me show you the valve cover and why this happens. For oil consumption, like Charles explained. Here's the valve cover, old gasket. The valve cover is part of the problem. This little shield right here that gets fed right here from the number 1. What do you know? Look at all this crap. Paraffin wax that's used in Pennzoil. It gets a buildup sludge. We're going to clean all that crap off. And then Charles suggests that you drill a couple holes in here to let the oil drain out of here and back down into the head so that you can continue your lubrication of the valves. And the flies are coming, so I'm going to take a break here because these flies are driving me nuts. At any rate, that's what we're doing. We'll take the other side apart once we fix this lifter and get it moving. So I don't want to deal with this side yet. Might have to though. We're going to leave the injector rail on. We're going to leave the injectors in the manifold, and just remove these bolts right here and so on. Pull this manifold off. We have to disconnect our fuel rail right here. That's fed from the fuel pump in the tank. These are pretty easy to manipulate, to disconnect these. There are some tricky ones. I'll show you those while we're here. They're over in this box. These studio cases look great for holding parts. Look at it. There's my coil pack. My alternator's underneath there with the bolts. I suggest you get a box of Buzz Lightyear bags and a Sharpie. You can write everything on it to keep everything organized. Then, in here, these are pretty tricky. Took me a minute to figure them out, but I'll show you. It's really simple. It has a clip on it. That's really easy. You pull it down with your finger and pull it over and pop it off. It's really simple to use. You pull it over, pull it out, and that frees it up. It's kind of like a fuel line, but that's how you pull those off. We've got all our hoses in here that go to the manifold. Keep everything organized. We'll catch you on the next one. Late.